ladies and gentlemen, you are more than welcome to another episode of the Coffee at 11 show. This is episode 71 of the Coffee at 11 show, brought to you by wigwam.ie, SME Peer Support. Delighted to have you here, rainy Monday morning here in Ireland. And delighted in particular to have my special guest here this morning, lady that I met some years back and reconnected with very recently. Lovely to have you here. Harriet McGuigan, you're very welcome. Please come in and show us your glass of water or your cup of coffee, whatever you have. Thank you. And say hello.
Hi everyone, and thank you so much for having me at your Coffee at 11.
It's indeed our pleasure. Boon of us to you. Boon of us to you. It's lovely to have you here in the cafe today. We're going to go to Q&A or comment from the floor. I'm quite sure somebody will want to come in and interact with you in just a moment, Harriet. But if you wouldn't mind, what are you taking from COVID? What lesson or lessons are you taking from COVID? You know, not letting go of. I'm
taking that I know more. I know even more that I really like my own company. Like you were saying, what's something that, because I love drama and theatre, and I've had main parts and show. You know, I'm very sociable, and as much as that, I love very simple things like my walk and my dogs and my garden, and I don't really need to be in the razzle dazzle all the time. I'm happy to do that, and I enjoy it at times, but I wouldn't like to do that every day. I feel compassion actually for people who would have to live in that spotlight place all the time. So I'm taking that, and I'm taking how trusting that, like, it was really nice for my children to be off that kind of treadmill of education. I know that wouldn't necessarily be what everyone would agree with, but like the day my daughter finished school, she grew her nails. You know, she was learning more organically and doing her baking, and she loves sewing, and just, I suppose I'm taking that developing your emotional intelligence is the foundation, because I'm smart. I just know that when you're smart, if you have really good emotional intelligence, the world is your oyster. Like that, I believe, I'm a big advocate of. I wish that was pushed more in school as much as how someone writes. Like I often get the teachers coming to me about my son because he's quite a disorganized writer, but like there's no fear of him. But you know, it's like where we put the emphasis. I think having good emotional intelligence is just what we need. I mean, wouldn't it be great if we had more leaders like that?
And a very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. You're more than welcome to another episode 72 of the Coffee at 11 show, brought to you by wigwam.ie, SME Peer Support. Delighted to have you join us on a Tuesday morning here in lockdown heaven. It's also a delight for me to introduce a young man that I met very recently, and I've been so impressed by this young man's view of the world that I thought we have to bring him in, because he's definitely a person worth meeting. My pleasure, Maxwell. You're very welcome. Please say hello and show us your coffee mug. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Colm. So my coffee mug isn't actually a coffee mug. I can't drink coffee because of my heart. It's a tea mug, and it's called Mr. T after the guy in the A-Team. So it's a little clever little play on words, but it's a tea mug as opposed to a coffee mug for sure.
And Mark, that'll do absolutely fine. You're more than welcome. Delighted. That's a lovely introduction, by the way. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Kathy Merrick coaches cross-country running for girls, so she's well impressed with your 11-second 100 meters. I mean, you know, ladies and gentlemen, can you imagine this man, you know, 120 kilos, and you're at the end of those 100 meters and he hits you? Not much argument there, right? Okay. It seems like it's going to get serious.
Yeah, so I stopped the story at Christmas 2010 because we were in Australia working the Australian school system. So you've got, the summer is November to January, February type thing. So their summer holidays start in December. So for our summer break, we wanted to go to New Zealand, myself and 3 other Irish guys I was living with, 3 good friends. And we went down to New Zealand, and as I say, I was fit as healthy as could be. And went to Auckland, went up north for a couple of days, did some jet skiing, great fun, and back down, and left Auckland one morning on the 7th of January, 2011, and left Auckland, was on a bus to a place called Rotorua, and I decided to go for a nap. And a couple of minutes into the nap, the guys noticed that I was snoring really, really loudly, and they thought I was just kind of taking the piss and trying to draw attention to them and that sort of thing. And then they realized they threw something at me. It bounced off my head. I didn't wake up. Then they realized when they looked closer that I was going blue. So I was actually pretty much blue by the time they realized something was wrong. And then because I built up obviously quite a frame and my body wasn't holding it up. So I was kind of like really hunched over and I was breathing like this. I was like, and then I dropped back down because my body was just folding over itself. And then they said, oh God, something's really wrong. So they stopped the bus. No word of a lie. It was the bus driver's first day on the job working for that tour company. Stopped the bus. They carried me off and they started to give me CPR. So I was taking protein and creatine at the time, but I couldn't take steroids because I wanted to be a player. Whereas one of the guys didn't want to be a player, so he did take steroids and he gave me CPR. And he broke my rib. He just went straight down and like cracked my rib. So every morning when I wake up to this day, I have to crack my rib there. And because he pushed it in too far. So this guy gave me CPR. I was actually dead on the ground for 20 minutes. And an ambulance came along and they gave me 6 shocks of an external defibrillator, which you gear up and shock. And that didn't work. There was still no sign of life. They put me in an ambulance and they kind of agreed that I did have a lot more padding than most people because of all the training. And so they gave me a few more shocks and they ended up giving me 13 shocks all told. And that got me going. Now I had life, but they were sure that my brain was going to be fried from all of the extra shocks. So they put me into an induced coma where they just bring down your body temperature, and I stayed in that induced coma for a week. The poor guys, like I always say, I had the easiest role in this whole play because I was asleep. Whereas the guys had to deal with their friend dying in front of them. The poor guys had to carry me off the bus, like this sort of thing. So the worst part was, like, the only kind of part I've never really joked about is they had to call my family and tell them. And I can't even imagine how hard that would have been for everyone on those calls. And like the family powerless, the friends having to deliver that news. And they flew down, my parents flew down from Dublin via Hong Kong, whatever, a day or 2 days later. And they went via Hong Kong. When they got to Hong Kong, they called the hospital to say, how's he doing? And this was literally a day or two after. And they said, you're still going to be pretty much coming down to pick up the body. There's no sign of life and it's not looking good. So it was really, really looking sad for a long time.
Right, come here, just a joy. We're going to go to Q&A and our comment from the floor in just a second, if that's okay, Mark. Thank you for being here. Before we do though, what's Mark Maxwell taking from COVID?
Taking from COVID, to be honest with you, there's a fair bit. I've been kind of like really into work recently. I moved to London to set up the office there, moved into management. Like, it's all been very grown up. And my brother's 31 and I kind of live a more grown up life than him even. It's kind of ridiculous. So what I realized, because COVID presented me with this opportunity of you can go and work anywhere in the world, you can do whatever you want type of thing. And it was overwhelming actually. And I was thinking, I've been living the life of a fucking 35-year-old and I'm only 28 and life is short and I need to get a bit more youth back into it. So it's really kind of challenged me in that way to think, okay, all options open. What would you actually do? And I talk about this in the book I wrote actually, about when you're given an essay to write and it has no title, you can write about anything, people tend to struggle more than when you're just given the title. And I found myself in that problem. And it really encouraged me to just kind of take the reins again and really think for myself, what am I trying to get out of this whole thing? As opposed to just belligerently carrying on this course because people are telling me it's a good course, if that makes sense.
A very good morning, one and all. You're more than welcome to another episode 73 of the Coffee at 11 show, brought to you here on a sunny Wednesday morning today in lockdown heaven. Delighted to have in particular my very special guest, Mr. Mick Dolan, joining us from Dolan's Warehouse and Emporium on the Dock Road in Limerick City. Mick, please say hello, show us your coffee mug, say cheers with your coffee mug, please.
Hello, everybody. Cheers. Welcome to the show. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to the chat. Cheers.
I love it indeed. Listen, it's been a joy having you come in and really appreciate you taking the time out because today's a busy day, like you're reopening.
I've got to run down in a few minutes because it's not working.
We'll let you go in just a few minutes. Before we let you go, 2 quick things if you don't mind. Number 1 is, what are you taking from COVID? What are you not going to let go of that you found again in COVID?
I think we were so busy, and for the last 3 months we haven't been. So it's taken time to reflect and just to do things a little bit, change things a bit, make things better, make things easier, and make things nicer for people. We've done all the place up, all our bars, it's all brand new, brilliant, yeah. So happy days, yeah. So yeah, just we're so happy just to get back at this start, and we can't wait to going forward to get it finished. Sarah's still stuck in America, so we're waiting for her to come back, waiting for a flight to come back. So she was doing concerts. She's an opera singer, so she's been over there, and she's hoping to get flights back sometime in September, October, and she's back for good then, working in the business. So we'll have a great singer available in Limerick, Sarah Dolan.
I love it. Ever the promoter, ever the promoter.
Absolutely.
She's not even off the flight yet, and he's selling her. Gentlemen, a very good morning. You are more than welcome to yet another episode 74 of the Coffee at 11 show, brought to you by wigwam.ie SME Peer Support. Delighted that you've chosen to join us. Thank you for being here. And in particular, I want to thank my very special guest, very interesting man this morning, Steve Spade. Steve, you're welcome to the Coffee at 11 show. Please say hello and show us your coffee mug.
Hey guys, how are you? Actually, I didn't get a chance to make a coffee yet, so I've got this bag here. So good morning. It's better than making coffee. It's quicker and it's easier. Guys, there's my coffee mug there.
Fantastic.
Black coffee as always.
Excellent, Steve. Excellent. Well, listen, you're very welcome. That's some entrance. Yeah, Steve, thank you for going there, because I know you've had a special relationship with your dad, probably still have a special relationship with your dad, even though he's passed on. It was very strong bond there, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, 100%. Yeah. What I do, but he could see the passion in it. You know what I mean? I'm passionate in other things as well, obviously, but he could see that. He was always a driving force. He loved me entertaining people, or he loved seeing their reaction. He kind of lived for that reaction. Like, he'd be like, oh, do a trick for such and such. He just wanted to see them react to what I could do. And he used to tell people, oh, my son's a magician. He'll turn water into wine for you. And even when he passed, I found in one of his jackets, I found just a big stack of my business cards. So yeah, those little things are, it's nice to know that he was proud,
Steve, that's just a lovely story. And against the backdrops, Eamon, thank you for that lovely picture. That's the picture. It was gorgeous. Beautiful image. And I love that. Your dad, when he passed, you found a stack of your business cards in his pocket. Wow.
Yeah.
Happy days.
Yeah, definitely. More than one pocket as well, actually. But yeah. But he was always doing that. He was always giving people my business card and telling people. He was always proud. When I did the last stunt he saw was my blindfold drive, and him being a mechanic and stuff, he was big into that one. He thought it was great. He thought it was crazy, but he always thought I was crazy. So there was no difference there.
Great stuff. Eamon, thank you for that lovely picture. Perfect timing. Thank you for that.
And even got interviewed that day that I did the stunt in the race course, the blindfold drive. He got interviewed actually by Live 95 because they were interviewing me, and they had a word with Dad, and it was great. He was always front and center with all that kind of stuff.
It's lovely. I was watching Janie Lazar there from Dublin, and she was leaning in and gave you the boodle bus, and you started talking about going and doing a photo shoot with your relatives, because they won't always be there. And
highly recommend that anyone that can do it. It doesn't have to be it could be a family member, it could be a friend or whatever. But just book a photo. Even after the COVID and everything is opened up and everything, just book a photo shoot. I'm sure the photographers will want the business, and just enjoy it. Just enjoy the day. Just do whatever style you want. I wanted to do that Victorian style, so I decided top hats and tails, and Just that kind of gentleman thing. I just wanted to do it. And then we tied it in with Movember because that always had a mustache and things like that. And it was all the cancer prevention for men and all that. So I was trying to help show a little bit of light towards that as well. So we used the images for that as a campaign. I went around and I did close-up magic on the street, and we raised money for Movember that around that time. So it all worked together. It worked really well. So it was really, really good. But I definitely recommend that. You know, it's just a fun thing to do.
Listen, you mentioned close-up magic. And you had me buy a deck of cards. Ladies and gentlemen, no expense spared. €2. €2. Look at this, right? No expense spared. Unopened until we go on screen here. So, Steve, let's do something. And Eamon, you might line up the explosion piece for later before we go to Q&A. That'd be great. Steve,
cool. So yeah, Colm, if you want to just open the box and just take off there'll probably be a seal and everything, and you'll have to open them and all that. Yeah, talk amongst yourself. I'll fill it with something. Actually, hang on, I'll fill it with this. This will be handy after the recession. You can, anyone that wants to learn this, just send me an email and I'll tell you.
I'm laughing away here. That was just great. Doubled your money. Money.
Just send me your fibers in the post and I'll send them back to you as a 50, no problem.
Oh, was it a 50? Forgive me, I was looking at a small screen. I apologize. 10 extra money. There you go. 10 extra money.
yeah. Perfect. Yeah. So just give them a mix.
Okay, take the two jokers out. So I'm
Please,
left with 52 cards, right? So you want me to give them a mix? Yeah. Now I've dumped my cards, so this is going to be awkward as.
That's perfect. I'm just going to come in a little bit just so I can see. Just you mix them. That's perfect. Yeah, you're mixing perfect. That's how I did. Great. Yeah, and you're just going to slowly just spread the cards from the top, like all the way like this, so people can see.
Facing the camera, Steve. Yeah.
Yeah. Just spread away.
Okay. Spread.
So to put your thumb, just put your thumb on the back of this and just spread from the front. So you're just going to show them like this, so everyone can see them.
Is that working?
Yeah. Just keep spreading through so they can see that they're mixed.
Are they mixed?
Okay, that's fine. That's cool. Yeah. So now you're just going to put them on your hand like this.
I'm going to have to take the camera back here, so I'm going to put them on my hand like this. Yes.
You can bring them up like that. Yeah, bring them. Yeah, perfect. So you're just going to cut off a few cards, like 10 or 20 cards.
10 or 20 cards.
Yeah, and you're just going to flip them over and put them back down.
Flip them over and put them back down.
Yeah, so you'll have cards face up. Is that right? Yeah.
Yep.
And now you're going to dig a bit. Yeah, and you're going to go a bit deeper now, so maybe like 40, 50 cards, whatever, and flip those over and put them back down.
40, 50 cards, flip those over and put them back down. Okay, done.
So Colm, if you want to bring the cards out of the shot now so I can see. Yeah, so if you look down now, you'll be looking at face-up cards. Yeah?
Yep.
So you're just going to spread through, and soon enough you'll find one that's face down, and then you'll find half the deck will be face down.
Okay, so I'm
look down, you'll see.
Out of shot, I'm spreading. I'm looking at face-up cards here now, folks, and I've just come to the first face-down card. Is that right?
Great. Take that face-down card and take it away from the deck.
Take the face-down card and putting it over here away from the deck. I haven't looked at it.
Yeah, perfect. And now get rid of the deck completely.
Rid of the deck completely. €2 folks down the drain. Don't worry about it.
So you'd be happy that I don't know what card you could have cut to.
Steve, not only do you not know, I don't know.
Okay, perfect. So you don't know, and that's fine. So have a quick look at it now, and we'll continue.
Okay.
Sure you have it?
I'm sure I have it.
Okay, perfect. So just think of the cards, say it over on your mind, and look at me. So it's either a red card or a black card. It's a red card. Okay, good man, Colm. It's either a heart or a diamond. A heart. Very interesting. It's an odd or an even. Just think odd or even, and just say it over in your mind like 3 of hearts, 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 3 of hearts. Is that what it was? It wasn't 3 of hearts?
No.
Okay.
I suppose I'm caught up in the production here as well as being your guinea.
It's okay. So what was the card? Because I'm picking up the 3 for some reason.
It's an 8, and it was 8 of diamonds.
8 of diamonds. Okay, quite similar to the 3 of hearts, but that's okay. But what yours is interesting is I have a new deck of cards here,
Okay.
and they're all in new deck order. You said it's 8 of diamonds, was it?
8 of diamonds, yep.
8 of diamonds. I'm going to go in and take out the 8 of diamonds, just so it's fair. Like this. 8 of diamonds.
8 of diamonds, yep.
And I'm going to leave the 8 of diamonds just, I'll leave it here, just inside my shirt. Right, so you can see it the whole time. Because on the back of this cards, there's like a little stick figure. Can you see that? And if I move it up along, you'll actually see him starting to change just a little bit. You see him starting to actually crawl into the cannon. See that? So you said the 8 of diamonds. I was picking up the 3 of hearts, and it's kind of weird, and I'll tell you why in a second. But if you watch the cannon, watch. He's going to climb into the cannon. He's going to throw the cards up in the air. He's going to dive in. He's going to grab one card on the way out. He's going to grab your card that you didn't even know that you'd cut the 8 of diamonds.
Oh my goodness. Steve Spade. Right. Show's over, folks. What's it been like in COVID? What are you expecting will happen for your industry post-COVID?
Yeah, it's a strange one. I mean, like nobody was ready for the world is closing. You know, fasten your seatbelts. So it definitely everyone's have to adapt. I mean, I've been lucky in one way that I've been able to do a lot more of these kind of meetings and interviews with people. I've been doing some podcasts and things with some magicians in the States. I did one the other night in California. I did one in Los Angeles, and I've done some local ones as well. And I'm actually considering setting up my own podcast for magicians because there isn't that side of things in Ireland that much. But it's good. It's just a good time to kind of sit down and be creative too, and just kind of get ready. Because I mean, when it comes back, and it will at some point, because I mean, entertainment like this, what I do, has been around since the pharaohs in Egypt, and a lot of things have happened since then, and it's never died out. You know, the first documented trick was the cup and balls, and it was done for pharaohs. You know, so it will come back around. It'll be a little bit different. It might be more online. It might be more interactive. It might be more stage magic. Close-up magic might be a thing in the past, and maybe it's be more stage or illusion. I don't know, but I'll be ready to adapt whatever way it is.
Great stuff, great stuff. Round of applause there.
I know you probably missed it, Colm, because I turned the fiver into a 50, but I'll show you the trick that everyone hates.
And ladies and gentlemen, that is COVID just there.
Yeah. That's it in one trick.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. You're more than welcome to this episode 75 of the Coffee at 11 show, brought to you by wigwam.ie SME peer support on this rainy Friday morning in July in lockdown heaven here. Delighted to have, in particular, as my guest on the show this morning, Catherine McGeechy, who's joining us. Catherine, you're more than welcome. Please say hello, Catherine, and show us a coffee mug.
Yes, I am drinking water. Hello to everybody. Lovely to be here with you.
Catherine, we're going to go to Q&A and comments from the floor in just a moment, if that's okay. Before we do, because it seems to me like there's a parallel between that recession in 2008 and what we're going through in COVID now, perhaps even at a more deep level now. What are you, Catherine McGeechy, taking from COVID? What are you not going to let go of now that you've refound it?
So when you live on that right-hand side, what's going on in the left-hand side has less and less and less power over you, no matter how dramatic it is. Initially, it's really challenging, but then you get to this place. But what I noticed was the importance of connection and community. So I was doing 4 o'clock tea. I have a big garden, socially distanced tea for my neighbours, whoever wanted to come, because some of the men were in and ladies were they were getting depressed, and they just needed to talk. They just needed a place, and so I did the tea with my gloves and everything hygienic, etc. And I have a big table, so we were able to socially distance. But that sense of being there for people, listening, listening to their stories, the sense of community has upped. The importance of creating that sense has upped for me, for sure. The piece, of course, absolutely. I loved it. I loved it.